Hi everybody, this is Lee at Fresh Astrology, and you're about to view your second quarter forecast for the year 2019. That means that I will be reviewing April, May, and June for each sign. Before we start though, if you do want to find me online for a reading or for a life coaching session, you can go to www.freshastrology.com. If you are interested in starting your own business and want support around that, you can find my other business, TribeTripsAndRetreats.com, at www.tribetripsandretreats.com to find out more and join us there. All right, onward, here we go. Hi Leah, this is Lee at Fresh Astrology. We are looking at the second quarter of the year in 2019. That means we're looking at April, May, and June. So what's going on for Leo? Well, the way I'm doing it, first of all, if you've never watched me before or watched me very little, the only reason I do astrology and the only reason I'm here on YouTube is to have the discussion around how you and I, how we all empower ourselves and take control of our own lives in the here and now, against the backdrop or the undercurrent of maybe what's going on in astrology and in our world around us. How do we ground ourselves in this moment now and become empowered with the knowledge maybe of what's going on out in the solar system and beyond, and with the knowledge of, you know, the everyday stuff going on around us? How do we get the control back? Not in the grippy, you know, fierce kind of control, but more like an empowerment. How do we empower ourselves to change our lives or to keep our lives on track? How do we manage our lives? How do we evolve? That's the discussion I am curious about. That's the discussion I want to have. So that's the kind of astrology I talk about. If it's for you, great, stay. If it's not, that is absolutely fine. So here we go. What I'm focused on for the next 3 months is really, I'm kind of looking at where your energy is being applied through Mars. So where is your energy going? What outward stuff are you trying to do? What's holding your energy in? You know, what's kind of stopping it or preventing it? And then also, what on a deep kind of emotional, spiritual level, how are you coping with power issues around power and control? And how can you do that sort of internal martial arts, jujitsu, to manage any pressure you feel, any hardship you feel? How do you turn it around and make it work for you so that you get what you want out of life, and so that you can enjoy your life? Moreover, not just get what you want. Life isn't about getting. It's really about being and enjoying, hopefully. Being is, if you can get into a state of just being, it is enjoyable. So I mean that kind of enjoyment. You know, not like a giddy, fun, amusement park kind of enjoyment. That's good and well, but I mean kind of a deep satisfaction kind of enjoyment of just being. How can you develop that with the kind of pressure crunch you feel in your 6th house, Leo, and with you know, the upcoming passage of Mars through your 12th house, which will happen about midway through this quarter. You're not quite there yet, but how do you manage your energy levels and energy in general so that you are fortified, you are rested, and you can get through this in a way that gives your quality of life something that you feel good about. So let's start with Mars. So you begin this quarter with Mars in Gemini, at the very beginning of Gemini. And so right at this moment, there's a lot of focus for the average Leo. And again, we're all comprised, Leo may be your sun sign, it may be your moon sign or rising. All of that's fine. I get asked that question all the time. It could be any of those, and this is a good forecast for you. But the way the chart is rotated is different depending on your rising sign. So some of this may feel more relevant to you than other pieces of this. But for the average Leo, let's just say Mars is really dominating this area to do with your future plans, where you're headed in life. And it most of all is how you see and experience what it's like to look out into your future. What is that experience like for you when you consider your future and what's down the road for you? And it may feel more immediate now, like this idea of your future is far more immediate right at the moment, and your energy is funneled here. And so what is it like for you to contemplate your future? Does it feel good? Does it feel scary? Are you angry about it? Are you energized? Are you passionate about creating and crafting the future you want? There's a lot here that's emotionally tied to the area of money and secrets and psychological stuff going on. So, when I talk about that, what little bells are dinging for you? What little lights are going on in your mind? Do you have concerns about money? Is a lot of your planning for the future rotating around, revolving around how much money you can make, how much money you have, how you want to invest, do you want to buy property? There's a lot of money awareness right now for the average Leo, and it directly is funneled toward, what am I doing in my future? How am I building my future? Are my finances matching the way I want to build my future? And if not, that might feel scary. That might feel confusing. Like, how do I make that match? Are there secrets or things I'm scared about with behaviors of mine? Is there someone shady? Am I paying attention to who's managing my money? Do I know where all my money is? So there's a lot of thinking that is I think good that needs to happen around where is my money? How is it coming in? How will money come in? Am I managing it well? If I'm hiring people, do I keep tabs on them? Do I check their work? Are they reputable? There are things like that. And it's also being accountable for one's own actions. So there are the actions in the past. And with this, I want to be clear. No matter what you've done in the past, if you have been in full awareness of what you've done and you don't want to do it again, and you've done some forgiveness work toward yourself, and you're trying to create a new life and not repeat mistakes of the past, good. And the past does not have to dictate who you are in the future or now. The past is the past. It truly is. There's this way we look at reality where we think that the past predicts the future. It can if we think it can, but it really doesn't. Otherwise, we wouldn't have inventions. Life wouldn't move forward. We wouldn't have new fashion. We wouldn't have the wheel. We wouldn't have the internet if the past predicted the future. Because in the past, we didn't have these things. Way back in the past, we didn't have the wheel. We're not still wearing like hoop skirts because the past does not dictate the future. Change is the biggest agent that is a constant. And so the past really does not. So if you have fears around past conditioning, past self-sabotage habits, secrets from your past, things you've done you're not so proud of, do the work or the spiritual work around forgiving yourself. But so forgiving yourself isn't like turning a blind eye, like I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm talking, this could be something minor, like, I ate an extra cookie or something from the cookie jar when I was 6, and I feel really bad because I lied about it to my mother. You know, it could be small. I'm not saying everybody's a criminal, but some of us have, like, you know, smaller things we're concerned about, and some of us have bigger things that we're concerned about that we've done, right? So if you don't want to repeat the past and you want to have kind of a clean slate, life gives you that in every new moment. Every new moment of our lives, we have a clean slate. The past does not have to come with us like a big ball and chain. It's not exactly like Marley in The Christmas Carol, for those of you who know that story. We don't have to carry around the chains from the past, but we have this sort of societal conditioning that is what we do. So I would encourage you to think about, you know, have you fully forgiven yourself? How do you feel about, you know, can you conceptualize and kind of get your mind around this idea that you don't need to carry the past with you? Because I feel like there's this dread. The reason I talk about this a lot right now is it feels to me like there's like this kite, or this kite that wants to fly high, or this butterfly that wants to take flight, or this rocket that wants to take off, and it wants to go places, and it wants a new start, and it wants freedom, and it wants to soar. And there's this psychological, emotional drag, like holding the tail of the kite and preventing it from flying, and something gripping the rocket and preventing it from really soaring, and something you know, tugging on that butterfly so that it can't really fly. And so I think for many of you, there's some degree of fear, and yeah, it's all fear-based stuff from the past. Fear of losing money, fear that you'll be poor again, you know, if you made money, fear that you'll never make money, fear that, you know, you'll just shoot yourself and that somehow you'll sabotage yourself. There's a lot of fear holding the average Leo back right now. And it has to do with love and money and past actions in the past. So for you to fully go forward, you know, we've got to find ways for you to release the past, to forgive yourself, to forgive what life has done to you, so that you can really soar and fly and reinvent and create the future you want. So part of that, there's this trick, this sort of, you know, I've been talking about in terms of like kind of this emotional, psychic, martial arts that you have to do, where in your world of health, which includes your mental health, you've got to build, you've been in the process of building a stronger base for yourself in your health and your mental health, if you've been lucky and you've been proactively wanting to do this. Some Leos have steered away, like, no, I don't want to do that, I'm not ready to do that, or they just keep pushing away this kind of work that they're supposed to be doing on their health and mental health. Some Leos are not quite fully on board with it, but if you've been trying and you keep trying, part of this work that you need to do on yourself is releasing the past, taking a look at what you still carry around as though you were attached to these chains from the past, and trying to disentangle yourself from that and realize that the past is gone. You don't need to carry it around. It does not define who you are. You can let it go. I think that's a big message for a Leo right now, is to just keep working on that so that you can move forward. Because it's hard to have that forward movement if something's really holding you back. And what holds most Leos back right now is a fear of something in the past, that something could happen again, something could go wrong again, with whether it's with money, relationships, whatever, or just their own ability to conduct themselves in a healthy way. So let's move on. So that's kind of what I would say to be working on, because when Mars goes into the 12th house, as it will in mid-May, you're going to feel maybe a little tired, like you want to kind of rest. And It's also a place, when you have Mars in the 12th house, it can be a little like a place of like feeling agitated. Sometimes it feels like you don't have enough energy to do what you need to do. Sometimes it feels like you just want more rest, more playtime. Sometimes it's a place where you feel frustrated that you can't move forward, that you're kind of on hold for a little while and you can't move forward with everything you want to move forward with. There's that kind of frustration. So to deal with it, you want to, I think, to deal with that sense of frustration that things aren't moving quickly or that you don't have enough time, it's getting really good at grounding yourself in the present moment and just releasing the fear that things aren't, you've got to get out of the future and out of the past. So I think one of the bigger things a Leo could do right now and through this quarter is to practice being in the moment. So you're releasing the past and you're kind of letting go of the future, like you're just taking your hands off the wheel of the future. And even kind of loosening your grip on controlling everything in your schedule. Letting things be a little messy. Letting things be a little more organic in your schedule. And I'm not saying it's okay to be late, because Leos sometimes struggle with lateness. So it's not okay to be late. But to maybe scold yourself. I'm trying to think how this translates. Not be so hard on yourself for messiness and how you're conducting your daily life. Life, first of all, is messy. It's not in neat little cornrows, and it's not meant to be in little boxes. Life is messy and organic, and your life and the way you live is going to be messy and organic, even if you don't want it to be. It's just because you are an organic being. You're a part of nature. Nature, again, it does not usually work in neat little rows on schedule all the time. There are variations and imperfections. So just, I would say, practice a lot of forgiveness here. Forgiving yourself from the past, releasing the past, grounding yourself in the present moment, releasing even the future a little bit, just for now, not forever, but just for a time. Just kind of, if it's frustrating that things aren't happening on schedule, you're not where you want to be or something like that, something's not happening soon enough, just taking a step back and being here, right here, and forgiving yourself if you're not doing things on time. If that feeling of I'm not doing it when I said I would, I'm not on time, I'm not keeping up my schedule, I can't seem to do things, get places on time, or I can't seem to manage this really tough schedule that I have right now. Sometimes this is too hard. Just noticing that and forgiving yourself for not being perfect. I think that's a big part of this. And because you have Jupiter in the 5th house, there is this call and the strong pull to just have fun, whatever that means. Even if it's just relaxing and doing not much of anything, there's this feeling of I just want to have fun, I just want to enjoy life, even if it just means just taking a breather. It doesn't have to be wild fun or some kind of movie kind of fun that would look good in the movies, but it could just be not having a lot of other things pulling on your attention. Maybe just some space, just to be and to feel a little more playful and like you have more wiggle room in your schedule. Is sort of the way I'm picking up on it here. So, what else? Let's see if there's anything else we want to add here. Of course, Uranus, we talked a lot about Uranus, but so there is so much pressure in your daily life to cope with scheduling and big changes and big stuff happening in your work world. That continues, that's a theme. There's going to be some unexpected. So the more we allow for forgiveness and variation, things not going according to plan, the better. Because there are going to be surprises, things that don't just seem organic, but they seem wildly unexpected and disparate. And to cope with that better, just getting into that habit of life is messy and organic, and I'm going to do the best I can to show up when I need to show up, but and life's going to do the best it can, but things are just going to go the way they're going to go, and sometimes I just have to release the control and let it be okay, and then practice being just in the moment, in the here and now, practicing some, I'm here right now, I'm just going to notice my breath. Sometimes that is the most radical thing we can do, and the most powerful thing we can do to change our lives, is to just get into our bodies and notice our breathing. It sounds crazy that it would be that important, but it may be the most radical thing you could do during this time. All right, take care, guys.